You spend a lifetime building relationships, raising kids, helping friends, keeping peace in the family. But somewhere along the way you start realizing not everyone you love brings peace into your life. And as you grow older, protecting your emotional space becomes just as important as protecting your health. So today, let's talk about 5 kinds of people you may need to keep a little distance from in old age, even if they're family. Because love doesn't mean letting everyone drain your peace. You've probably met this kind of person before. The one who always has something to say about how you live, dress, speak, or think. Sometimes they do it subtly, wrapped in humor or honesty. Other times, it's more direct, like a passing remark that lingers far longer than it should. They might be family, a close friend, or even someone you've known your whole life. What makes it painful is not just what they say, but the way it makes you feel. Small, second-guessed, or never quite good enough. In your younger years, maybe you brushed it off or told yourself, that's just how they are. But as you grow older, those little cuts add up. They steal your peace in quiet ways. And peace, at this stage of life, is something you can't afford to lose. The constant critic rarely understands the damage they cause. In their mind, they might believe they're helping you improve, or that their tough love keeps you grounded. But love that always leaves you hurt isn't really love. It's control wearing kindness as a mask. It can come from a parent who never stopped parenting, an adult child who means well but forgets you're still capable, or a sibling who feels the need to compete even now. It might even come from friends who always know what's best for you, except they never stop to ask what you actually want. When you've spent a lifetime taking care of others, it can be hard to notice how much this criticism has shaped your self-worth. You start doubting your choices, your routines, even the small joys that once brought you peace. You might find yourself changing things just to avoid another comment. The way you cook, how you spend your money, what you wear to a family dinner. But slowly, that's how people lose their spark. In this season of life, you deserve conversations that don't leave you tense. You deserve to feel safe in your own thoughts, proud of your small decisions, and free from the weight of constant judgment. Distance doesn't have to mean resentment. It can mean choosing silence over conflict, choosing self-respect over constant correction. And sometimes, when you finally stop explaining yourself to someone who never listens, you start hearing your own voice again, calm, confident, and enough just as it is. There's a certain kind of person who always seems to bring a heavy cloud with them. The moment their name appears on your phone, you can almost predict how the conversation will go. They'll talk about everything that's gone wrong in their life, every slight, every disappointment. And by the time you hang up, you feel emotionally exhausted. You care about them, of course. You've listened for years, offered advice, given comfort. But over time, something changes. The relationship begins to feel one-sided, as if your only role is to absorb their pain. Emotional drainers often don't realize what they're doing. They may be lonely or lost, seeking someone steady who listens without judgment. But when every interaction revolves around their struggles, and they rarely ask how you're doing, it slowly empties your emotional tank. You start avoiding calls or making excuses just to protect your energy. And then the guilt sets in. Because you're kind, and you've always been the person others turn to. Yet deep down, you know that constantly carrying someone else's burdens leaves little room for your own peace. As we grow older, our emotional reserves aren't limitless. Life itself already brings enough worries, health, family, finances, memories that resurface in quiet moments. So when someone repeatedly adds to that load, even unintentionally, it can weigh you down in invisible ways. You might notice yourself feeling more tired, more anxious, or less joyful after spending time with them. That's your heart's way of saying, it's time to set gentle boundaries. You don't have to cut anyone off to protect your peace. Sometimes, it's as simple as listening for a shorter time, changing the subject to something lighter, or saying, I care about you, but I need to rest my mind today. That small act of honesty can save you from emotional burnout. It reminds both you and them that friendship or family connection doesn't mean endless sacrifice. When you allow yourself the space to breathe, you'll notice how quiet moments start feeling peaceful again. Your thoughts become clearer. You find yourself smiling at small things. A good meal, a walk outside, a memory that warms instead of drains you. Protecting your emotional energy isn't selfish, it's necessary. Because peace of mind is not something others give you. It's something you decide to keep. Some people offer help that doesn't really feel like help. It begins kindly enough. They insist on taking care of your bills, handling your errands, or deciding what's best for you. At first, it seems thoughtful, even comforting. But over time, you start to notice a pattern. You're not being asked anymore, you're being told. The choices that used to be yours now belong to someone else. And the worst part is, they make it sound like it's all for your own good. The manipulative helper often hides behind good intentions. They may say, don't worry about it. I've got this. Or, you don't need to think about these things anymore. But every time they take control of something, your finances, your schedule, your independence, a small piece of your confidence is taken with it. Their help slowly becomes a form of quiet control, and it leaves you feeling dependent in ways you never expected. This kind of relationship can be especially confusing when it comes from family. A child who once looked up to you now treats you like you can't make your own choices. A relative who just wants to help starts deciding who you see or how you spend your time. It's not always done with bad intent, but the result is the same. You start to feel smaller, less capable, less free. True help is about respect. It allows the person being helped to stay in charge of their own life. It's patient, it listens, it asks before it acts. Manipulative help, on the other hand, is rushed and loud. It doesn't wait for your input, it assumes you need saving, and when you question it, you're made to feel ungrateful. That emotional twist, being told you should appreciate what actually takes away your independence, is what makes this kind of person so hard to confront. But you still can, and gently. It begins with remembering that asking for help doesn't mean surrendering your choices. You can accept assistance without giving up control. You can say, thank you, I've got this one. Or, I appreciate your care, but I'd like to decide this myself. It's not confrontation, it's self-respect. Because staying in charge of your life, your money, your time, your decisions, isn't stubbornness, it's dignity. And in the later chapters of life, dignity is one of the last treasures worth guarding. There's a certain kind of person who always seems to bring chaos wherever they go. Conversations that start out calm somehow turn into arguments. Simple family gatherings end in tension. Even quiet moments become noisy when they're around. They thrive on stirring emotions, and before you realize it, you're caught in their web of drama, explaining, defending, or trying to make peace between others. It's exhausting. And in the later years of life, that kind of emotional roller coaster takes more from you than it ever gives back. Drama bringers often aren't aware of how much disruption they cause. They feed off reactions, the sighs, the defenses, the attention. They bring up old wounds as if time never passed, retell stories to cast themselves as the victim, and create tension between people who might otherwise get along. Maybe it's a relative who constantly compares one sibling to another, or a friend who can't let go of grudges. Whatever the form, they pull peace out of a room the way wind pulls leaves from a quiet yard. You may have spent years trying to calm situations, to be the steady one who smooths everything over. That instinct comes from love and maturity, but over time, it wears you down. Because peace can't survive in a place where drama keeps knocking on the door. You can't heal when someone keeps reopening every scar. You can't find joy when every conversation feels like walking through an emotional minefield. The truth is, it's not your job to fix someone who thrives on chaos. You can care about them and still choose quiet. You can love them and still step away when the tone shifts from caring to conflict. That distance doesn't mean anger, it means wisdom. It means you've learned that your mental calm is worth more than winning any argument. Sometimes, the most peaceful response is no response at all. When you start protecting your peace, you'll notice how different life feels. Mornings become lighter. Meals taste better. The silence that used to feel lonely begins to feel like freedom. Choosing not to engage with drama isn't weakness, it's strength. Because a peaceful life isn't something others can give you. It's something you create, moment by moment, by refusing to let chaos find a home in your heart. Few things hurt more deeply than feeling like a burden to the very people you once cared for. It can start quietly, a sigh when you ask for help, a delayed response to your call, or a subtle shift in tone when you mention needing something. These small signs begin to add up until one day, you realize you've started apologizing for existing. You move carefully around certain people, trying not to bother them, trying to stay out of the way. It's a kind of loneliness that doesn't come from being alone, but from feeling unseen. For many older adults, this realization comes as a shock. You spent decades giving, raising children, working hard, being dependable. You carried others through their difficult times, often without complaint. Now, when you need patience or companionship, some people respond with distance or irritation. They may not mean harm, but their words or actions carry a message that cuts deep. You are too much, too slow, too needy. And that's a painful lie to live with. What often gets forgotten is that growing older doesn't erase your worth. You are not a burden, you are a collection of stories, experiences, and wisdom that no one else can replace. You've faced life's storms and built a legacy through your presence, your laughter, your love. The ones who make you feel like a burden are often weighed down by their own impatience, not your needs. Their inability to slow down doesn't define your value. It's natural to feel hurt, even angry, when you sense that shift in how people treat you. But the answer isn't to withdraw completely. It's to redirect your energy toward those who see you, truly see you. Friends who listen, neighbors who smile, family members who make time to sit and talk without rushing you. These are the connections that nourish your spirit. The people who treat your presence as a gift, not an obligation, remind you that your life still has deep meaning. Sometimes, it takes distance to remember your own dignity. When you stop chasing those who overlook you, you make space for kindness to find its way back in. You deserve relationships that feel peaceful and mutual, not ones that make you shrink yourself. Because in the end, you are not a weight to carry. You are a light that still matters, and the right people will never make you feel otherwise. Here's something few people talk about. Avoiding someone doesn't mean you've stopped loving them. It means you've started loving yourself enough to protect your peace. Boundaries aren't walls. They're doors that help love flow in healthier directions. And when you protect your peace, you make room for joy, laughter, and genuine connection to return. As you age, your circle may get smaller, but it becomes purer. You don't need a crowd. You need calm respect, and a few people who truly care. Have you met someone like this in your own life? How did you protect your peace? Share your story in the comments. It might help someone else going through the same thing. And if this message touched your heart, share it with someone you love.